What is going on, guys? Welcome back to an absolute banger, value-packed liquid gold, whatever you want to call it, and whatever synonym for value you can think of. I need you to do two things, okay? Now, this is standardatory procedure, and I do this at every single one of my whiteboard videos, okay? So, first thing, get out a trusty notebook and a pen or a pencil, whatever you want to do. Maybe a pencil in case you're a retard and you don't know how to write and you mess up. Next thing is grab a belt, the strongest belt you can possibly find in your house, and put that hoe on and tighten that puppy up, okay? Because I'm going to give you so much value, it is going to be hard. You're going to start fiending. You have to take your belt off and start playing with yourself. I'm going to be giving you too much sauce. Try not to get lost in it. So here's the exact mindset that made me over $1 million revenue at 18, after tax, at 18. Okay, so if you don't know who I am, my name is Smith Reese. I'm an 18-year-old entrepreneur, recently turned 18, and I've generated over $1 million revenue from, info, agency, e-commerce, dropshipping, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to give you the exact mental framework through 3.5 rough years of experience that have kind of dialed it down to these first principles and these fundamentals that have allowed me to make the kind of money and travel the world and meet cool people and do whatever I want pretty much whenever I want at the age of 18 and live more than a 16-year-old has in pretty much the last 3 months. So I actually did the math on the amount of flights that I took, like from, I think it was like January to March 1st, and it was like an average one flight every 4 days. It was crazy. So here's you. And we're going to kind of be using this little you, I guess, thing as a whole entire, it's going to be essentially, this is you, and we're kind of going to use this as like you'll see, this will make sense, okay? So here's you. Now, you're probably not where you want to be because you're watching this video. If I was where I wanted to be, I wouldn't be making this video. Let's keep it $1.50 here. So here's you. Now, every single human on earth has, let me actually write this a little bit better. Every single human on earth has a desired reality. Okay, so I bear my handwriting because I'm writing on a mouse with no mouse pad, but every single human on earth, no matter who you are, unless you're genuinely content with where you're at in life, every single human has a desired reality. Now, there's things that we can do to get to this desired reality, but the one thing that's holding everyone back is belief systems. So think of like belief systems as a chain around your neck. Let me fix this. I'm going to do some colors. So think about belief systems as like a chain around your neck, and you're carrying this big ass rock. Now, every single thing that you do in your entire day-to-day life is carried and manifested from these belief systems, okay? Let me tell you guys something. If you want to look at the way somebody thinks or what they believe, don't look at what they say, look at what they do, because your beliefs manifest in your actions, okay? If I say that, oh, I'm this amazing entrepreneur, and I've done this, I wouldn't have thrown up social proof. I wouldn't be giving you the value I'm giving. I wouldn't be recording on a great camera, and I wouldn't be sitting in a penthouse that I paid a good amount of money for this month, okay? So don't look at what somebody says, look at what they do, because beliefs manifest in your actions. So everyone wants, you don't want to become, you just have to be. Okay, so you don't want to say, I'm going to do this, and we're going to get into this. You don't want to say, I'm going to, or soon, or eventually. You want to say it as definitives in the present sense. So, for example, your belief systems are this big-ass rock that you are dragging throughout your entire day-to-day life, right? So through your actions, you can say you want to do things, you can have aspirations, but it don't really matter unless you're actually doing the needle pushing things, the leveraging things to actually get to that goal. So imagine here's your belief systems, and you're carrying this little, like it's tied around your neck, and you got to carry this boulder around 24/7. The problem is that most of you guys are not moving the boulder. Okay, you're not trying to change your belief systems. You're not trying to change your overall sense of self and your identity. You're just sitting there with the boulder, not moving, being like, it's too heavy. Now, the way you actually overcome it is by, and this is what I'm going to, obviously it's just an analogy, but the way you destroy your belief systems is by scraping this boulder down over and over, and let me choose a better one, over and 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 over every single day. It's not like a quick thing, guys. There's not like some mindset shift in 38 hours that you can make that's going to completely fix your. It is like a 6-month process of becoming this evolved avatar and identity of yourself. So eventually, you scraping away and understanding, being conscious, reaching that next level of collective consciousness, which we'll get to in a second, is essentially you, and it's you basically cutting down all of your belief systems into this little pebble right here. Now, obviously, the smaller the rock gets, the less heavy it is, the easier it's going to be for you to carry it. So no one's ever going to have 0% of a rock. Everyone's going to have a rock attached to their neck that they're going to have to drag across, but you can do things to mitigate the size and the weight. So think about it like this. You have a desired reality. Now, within your desired reality, let me see. Let me go to black again. So within your desired reality, you have a desired sense of self. Okay? So within your desired reality, you have a desired sense of self. Now, what is your sense of self? A sense of self is essentially an identity. It is a person. It is an evolved avatar that you are. I hope my mic is working. But it is essentially an evolved avatar of yourself. So if this is you, now your desired sense of self can be you with a little rock. But right now, a lot of you guys are posted up with this big-ass rock around your neck. I don't know if I can erase that, but let me see if I can do it. A lot of you guys, this is you currently. You got this big-ass rock around your neck, and you're dragging this around 24/7. Now, your desired sense of self may be you without a rock at all, or maybe dragging a little bit, doing whatever you want. So this comes down to everything, right? Belief systems. Belief systems are the way you basically contemplate anything. Now, belief systems and frequency, I'm going to write this down for you guys. So belief systems, Guys, I dropped out of high school, okay? Give me a break. Belief systems and What? Dude, just deleted it? All right. Systems and guys, bear with me. Belief systems and frequency. So this is your current sense of self, right? So your desired sense of self / I'll just do another one. So desired sense of self, and then we'll come here, and then we'll do current SOS, sense of self. Okay. So your belief systems and frequency together are going to formulate your current sense of self. So everything that you believe, all your actions that you go about your day-to-day life, and this is human psychology, you can break it down into neuroscience, but pretty much any any psychologist, a lot of philosophers who were practically anything, who are anybody in history, have all understood these ideas. So you have a current sense of self, and your belief systems and your frequency. Now, with your frequency, let's take you, and let's take your goal. So let's just do, let's do green. Money. Money talks. Money talks. So here's you, and here's your goal. So you're on this frequency. Now, your goal's on this frequency. The reason you are not able to get to your goal is because sure, you're pushing, but you're pushing towards the wrong frequency. In order to get to your goal, you kind of have to put yourself down here when you're on this blue wavelength of frequency. I'm just kind of making this so you guys can visualize it to actually get that goal. So what does this mean? Okay, I know this is such like a boring, overused kind of, the thing to say, but it's like in order to make $1 million, you have to be a millionaire. Does that make sense? So you will never have money until you are the kind of person to make money. Now, this is something that I've genuinely realized recently. I've been I've really sat there and I've thought, and I don't want this to sound like I'm flexing on you guys, but I want you guys to understand that this is a crazy feeling for me. It's not the fact that I felt nothing, and I'll explain, is the craziest feeling. So I went to Miami, then Switzerland, Croatia, Cape Town for 3 weeks, stayed in the craziest villas, went to the craziest parties, met the craziest people, met some billionaires. Then I went to Serbia, then London, then back to Miami, and back to LA, which is where I'm based right now. And in Miami, we were whipping McLarens, we had an RPG, we were just going crazy, and it was super fun. Now, as soon as I got back when I was in Miami, I went to my meet up with my buddy. He's done over $34 million in e-commerce, and he had a dope mansion and a 720S. And and after that crazy 3 months, I sat there and I thought to myself, and I was like, I never felt out of place driving the cars. I was never like, oh, I'm going to crash. I'm scared to crash because then I'm going to have to pay for it. I never was like nervous about anything. And I realized that that's strictly because I'm on the frequency of these things. Everyone's goal is to make $1 million. Everyone's goal is to drive McLarens in Miami and LA and travel the world and go to Europe and stay in villas next to footballers with 20 million followers on Instagram and, you know, stuff like that. And I don't feel a thing about it. I never felt like this, I'm not deserving of it, or I didn't belong there. Like, I've gotten in 1 of 10 Rolls Royces in London, and I felt normal. I was like, yeah, this is my life. Like, I know, like, I used to get into maybe, you know, like an Uber Lux, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Oh my God, let me take pictures. Or I'd walk into like a Loro Piana store, and I'd like take a bunch of pictures, or Louis Vuitton, you take the little pictures and you post on your story. Like, I don't care anymore. I walk into these stores all the time. I don't take a single photo. I get in these cars all the time. I don't take a single photo. Now, of course, you have that side for the content, but I realized that after that crazy, 2 months, let's say 2 months, I realized like, holy shit, I'm on the frequency of all these things. Now, obviously, it's a long process actually getting to the level and the frequency of the things you want to get to, but this is essentially what I've realized. You need to go and do it. Now, for example, in DRM, which is my school group, I tell these guys inside, and I say, if you need to become he who can. Okay, you need to feel like you're deserving. So I tell these guys, if you don't feel like you belong yet, go into a Loro Piana store or go to a Rolls Royce dealership or a Lambo dealership and sit in those cars 2 times, 3 times a week until you feel like it's a fucking Prius. Until you feel like it is a normal car and you belong there. Because if you were to put me in a Bugatti, I'd be shitting bricks, be like, yo, I don't want to crash this car. But when I was in the McLaren, I was like, let's whip this shit. I don't give a fuck. So it's like, my mission is get to the point where I feel this way about Bugattis, where I feel no way about Bugattis because I feel like I deserve it. Now, for you guys, if you were to get in those McLarens or get in those stores or Rolls Royces, you'd be like, holy shit, let me, you know, make sure my shoes don't touch the floor, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you need to adopt the frequency of your goals. Now, you need to now this comes into reverse engineering your sense of self. So you have a current sense of self. Let me kind of make this a little bit easier to read. So you have a current sense of self, and here's you. So this is kind of your current sense of self up here. You need to kind of dissect your current sense of self in order to get to your goals. So let's just use this kind of guy that I drew over here as your current sense of self. So you want to get to your goals. Now, what does that consist of? Now, let me fix this. I don't know if I want to erase some stuff, but let me we can kind of use this already. So your desired reality is strictly a new frequency. Your desired reality, put simply, is just a new frequency, okay? So in order to go somewhere you've never been, you need to become someone who you've never been. Your current / bad or old reality is a frequency that is built upon your belief systems. So you believe XYZ. If you think money is hard to make, money's going to be hard to make. If you think that you're not deserving, then you're not deserving. So pretty much, like I've read, and if you're familiar with, you know, I guess any kind of these terms, you know what the book Reality Transurfing is. Now, if I had to sum that book up in one kind of shebang, right, it would be the idea of free will. Free will is, I guess, the whole collective. It's the summary of the book, in my personal opinion. It is the idea of free will. Most people think that the universe has things cut out for them, or God. Like, I'm Christian myself, strict Christian, but I think that a lot of people, they think that God has some plan for them. I'm like, if you're watching this video, you have an internet connection and a device with Wi-Fi or cellular data, and you can download apps, or you have a laptop. So God is literally telling you, go do whatever you want. You can get rich. You just choose not to. Oh, because he's not going to go make the money. He's not going to build the landing sites and the Shopify stores and all this stuff for you. Like, if you have $30 a month and a car, or you live next to a gym, then God wants you to be in good shape. But he's not going to, you know, lift the dumbbells for you. So a lot of people don't believe in this idea of free will and that they can go and attain new frequencies and get whatever they want by simply doing the work, which is why most people fail. Everyone is exactly where they deserve to be. Okay, accountability is a big part of this. So Everything comes down to belief systems and frequency. You have a desired reality. Your desired reality, simply put, is a different sense of self, identity, and frequency. Think of the infinite parallels infinite parallels theory. So realistically, I'm sure you guys have all heard of this, that there is infinite realms. There's infinite everythings. So you can have a realm where I'm black. You can have a realm where I'm a Taiwanese 13-year-old. You can have a realm where I'm some anime girl in real life. You can have a realm where in the background it's Kendall Jenner naked and get me a bunch of views. Or you can have a realm where Shaquille O'Neal busts through a helicopter, bangs through the door, runs up to me, slaps me in the face with a salmon, takes my camera, and does an entire vlog. These are all realities. Now, as absurd as they are, you can have a reality where you're whipping your dream car, making $100,000, $200,000 a month, living or going and traveling wherever you want to be. That's real. Now, through this kind of, let me draw these out. So through these kind of different realities, right? These are all different frequencies. So you kind of just have to go attune yourself to the frequency that you want to get to. So let's say the red one is the Shaq breaking into my fucking, house and doing a vlog. Okay, I probably don't. I mean, unless you really want that, you can probably figure out a way to get that. It probably costs a lot of money though. But let's say the red one is Shaq. You want to attain that one. Okay. Let's say the yellow one is you wanting to get your dream car, going traveling wherever you want. It is simply just attaining and attuning yourself and your current identity to that frequency. So what do I mean by that? Your beliefs manifest in your actions. So literally look at what you do. Understand that everything you know is BS and you have to program your mind to high frequencies. What I've realized that I was doing recently is I was on YouTube a little much. And especially on my phone, I was like kind of watching stuff, and maybe during the day I would watch stuff longer than I should after eating my Chipotle or something like that. And I realized that these are all inputs and they're negatively programming my mind. And it's not like I was watching negative content, but I was consuming more than I was creating, and the things that I was consuming were not necessarily helpful. So what did I do? I deleted YouTube off of my phone. Now I don't have YouTube. I haven't touched TikTok in months. All I do is work, record banger videos like this for you guys, and then keep the grind going. So right there was, I had a belief. I believed that YouTube was hurting me because I felt, I was conscious about the fact that it made me less productive. Now, making me less productive is making me kind of attuning my frequency in the wrong way to the goals that I wanted. So what did I do? I cut out that factor, and now I'm back on the frequency to get on this identity of, me having a matte black Bugatti Devo with red brake calipers. You see what I'm saying? So this kind of comes down to everything you're doing. It's all programming. You can program yourself to be rich. If you are watching this video, this is an input. You are programming yourself to be rich. Everything that you know is the result of an input. The things that I'm saying now, I didn't just come out the womb saying. English, the language that I'm speaking that you are listening to, I learned from somebody else. Okay, so you're never going to just go make $1 million by all of a sudden unless you dig up a fucking briefcase from El Chapo. But you see what I'm saying? You have to go and learn the things. Everything, it's just skills and attaining a frequency. You don't have to be the smartest guy on planet Earth to actually go make money. You can just attune yourself to the frequency of somebody who's making money. So you have belief systems and you have actions. Okay, so the problem is that most people fail to identify that their belief systems that are, what your current sense of self are, and your desired reality, they suck. Your belief systems are freaking buns, brother. Your belief systems are trash, which is why you are where you are. Now, it's not your fault because your belief systems are built upon the content you consume, maybe the people around you. It could be through inputs, through your teacher, your parents, your brother, your aunts, your uncles, your friends, your video games, your TikToks, whatever. It's just bad stuff. Let me take a sip of water. Lovely, nice and hydrated again. So, understand that your belief systems are BS. They suck. There's no reason that you should sit there and, look at me and my position in life and your position in life and sit there and say, this guy's talking just a bunch of smack. It just doesn't make sense. Your belief systems suck. And your belief systems are the exact reason why you are where you don't want to be, which is why you're watching this video. So, understand that you need to kind of dissect yourself, and you need to break these belief systems down to the first principles. The first principles is essentially just dissecting an idea or a theory to its fundamentals, its most basic things, and then kind of reverse engineering that problem for there. So let's say you don't have money, you don't believe you can have money. Why? Because your mom told you that money is scarce when you were growing up, and maybe you are still poor, you grew up in a poor household, or XYZ. Why do you think that billionaire kids get to fly on private jets 24/7? It's because that's the identity, right? So if you grew up in a poor neighborhood, you're more likely to be poor because that's the frequency and that's the identity that you grew up with. So belief systems. If your parents told you that money is scarce, you're going to believe that money is scarce, and you won't believe that money is unscarce until you A, win the fucking lottery, or B, change your belief systems and then make a bunch of money. Does that make sense? So even motherfuckers who win the lottery believe that money is scarce. Why do you think most of these kids go broke? These guys who win $1 billion, they go fucking broke. It's because they aren't that evolved version of themselves. They don't have the identity to keep the money. If you are not that kind of person, the money will not stick with you. So understand that you have a desired reality and you want to go get to your desired reality. It is all frequencies and belief systems. So obviously I can sit here, right? I can sit here and I can doodle on this lucid spark board in my penthouse and yap. But this is what most people on YouTube don't do. I'm going to give you actionable steps for things you can do to attune your new frequency, to create your own reality. I'm going to give you actionable steps, okay? First thing, as soon as you're done watching this video, I need you to get out, I need you to get out, okay? I need you to get out a paper, okay? Now, I need you to write down on this paper all of your inputs. So let me kind of do this. Inputs. So write down all of your inputs. Inputs, paper, okay? So for every single person watching this video, I want you to write down all your inputs on a piece of paper, okay? This is gonna be your parents, anything. It could be your phone, the podcast you watch, the YouTube channels, maybe like this one, your TikToks. I don't care if it's good or if it's bad or you don't know, break it down, okay? Your inputs, I want you to understand, the people, your friends, your teachers, your aunts, your uncles, maybe even your pastor if you go to church, anything on earth. Write down your inputs. Now, on this inputs paper, what you need to do is identify your desired reality, which is right here. Identify your desired reality and your desired sense of self. So your desired SOS, your desired sense of self. Now, if these inputs on the paper that you just did, I hope you paused the video or you can do it after, if these inputs aren't catering to your goal or this desired sense of self, this new frequency, then cut them off, cut them out. I had friends that I knew for 6 years when I was trying to make it, and they were not supportive. They made fun of me, and I used to play Fortnite with them. You know what I did? I ghosted them. I blocked them on everything for 7 months straight. These are guys I knew for 6 years, over half a decade. But you got to do what you got to do. Now, they're still playing Fortnite, but I'm making stupid money for an 18-year-old, living a crazy life, okay? And I don't even think twice about it because not only have I worked hard, I believe I deserve it because I've attuned this frequency and this current sense of self, but I've just done it. It was a necessary sacrifice, okay? So make this inputs paper, and if it's not in accordance to this new frequency, this identity, cut it out. Next thing, identify, through your inputs, right? Identify your belief systems. So kind of sit down and be like, oh, there we go. Kind of sit down and identify your belief systems. So pretty much everything that you believe. It could be about anything. It could be about yourself. Let me tell you something. The best way to conquer your own belief systems is just by going and doing things, is by getting the skills. Okay, let me put it like this. Your confidence is your competence. Competence is essentially your level of knowledge on a certain facet of or XYZ. So the reason why I can sit here and I'm not stuttering and I'm not going, well, I sometimes, I haven't cut this video once, I don't need to retake it, is because I know this shit and it's worked for me. So I'm confident enough coming on here making a 20+ minute YouTube video about this topic because I'm competent inside of this topic. Does that make sense? Your competence is your confidence. So the best way you're going to conquer your belief systems or become more self-confident as your identity is going and learning the skills and becoming more knowledgeable in the facet of life you want to become more knowledgeable in. Does that make sense? So everything I talk about, Like if you were to go ask me and, you know, want me to go talk about like, I don't know, like politics, like I'm a smart guy. So I'm gonna be honest. I had a hard time thinking about stuff that I don't really know about. But like if you were to go ask me about, Smith, what is the WNBA? I don't know. And I'm sure none of you guys, I don't think a single person on earth knows what's going on inside the WNBA. But if you were to put me against a WNBA fanatic, he'd probably be more competent or confident going into the debate, the argument that he knows more, or the quiz because he knows better than me. If I were to drop you in a UFC octagon with Khabib, you'd probably shit your pants. You'd probably be like, I know, I'm sorry. Let me go Dagestan 2-3 years and forget. You know what? If I sent you to Dagestan 2-3 years and forget, and one call 6 months, you know what's gonna happen? And you come back 2-3 years, and I put you in an octagon with Khabib. You know what's gonna happen? You're gonna be a lot more confident to fight the guy. Okay? Your confidence is your competence. So break down your belief systems, break down your inputs. Hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Absolute banger sauce. If you're interested in joining my school community, feel free. There's a link below. And follow me on Instagram, @RealSmithReese. I drop sauce on there all the time. Keep up to date on my stories. Great stories. Probably the best Instagram stories you've ever seen in your entire life. Okay? Book a call down below. DRM is great, but you know what's even greater? The coaching group. We had a guy do $5,000 in a day yesterday. We got dudes that are literally 18 that are traveling the world. We're doing in-person meetups. We have a guy flying first class to LA right now, literally as I'm speaking this video. We got guys crushing it, okay? And I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to, you know, but feel free to book a call. See what it's about. You don't even have to. To throw 800 grand at us. It's not $8 grand. Most of these guys are, you know, charging 20 grand for some shit. It's not like that. Okay? Just see what it's about. We got some finance options down there as well. Made it very accessible for you guys. And thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you enjoyed. Check out my other YouTube videos. Heck yes. Remember, guys, stay blessed. Jesus loves you. Take care.